Sorry about that. What we're going to go over tonight is the setup, and then just kind of some, all the details about that, and just kind of review it. I know that first video, when y'all log in, it goes over this, but it also goes over a whole bunch of other stuff. So I thought I would focus just on this, and then we're going to focus on just a few other detailed things. So, time is it? I've got 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. This is the picture of y'all's back office, right? And before I even log in to set up a deal, this is what I do. I take the client I just sold, and I put him into Google+, okay? Now, in Google+, I'm going to use RTO Engage as an example. In Google+, sometimes you're going to see there's 2 of them. Now, really, one of them they should probably delete, okay? Because you don't want to have multiple Google Plus pages. So if they do have one, what you're looking for is, do you see right here, that circle? See that how there's no check marks? And now look in this circle, see that little check mark? That's what you're looking for. That means verified local business, right? So it means it's a verified local business. That's the one you want. So that would be I'm going to work off of that. So you find your business. Now, by the way, if they're not verified, then don't set them up yet. Go back to the business and say, hey, your page isn't verified. They can verify it themselves. It's usually with a phone call. It's not real hard. Worst case scenario, they make them do a mailing, and they'll mail them a postcard, and it takes about 7 days. So yeah, it could delay your sale up to 7 days, but it doesn't matter. If their page is not verified, weird stuff can happen. By the way, if their page is not verified, you are going to become a rock star as well, because you're going to be able to say, wow, did you know that your page isn't verified? Did you know that if you're not verified, you're not going to come up in like a Google Maps search in your industry? And you'll come up when somebody searches your physical address, but if you're an auto repair place, you're not going to come up Bob's Auto Repair when somebody types it in. So again, it's you to the rescue. If they're not verified, you want to make sure you get it done. How do you do it? It's when you look them up on in a regular Google search, you'll find like there'll be a little button down here that says, are you the owner of this page? And you would just click that. You get the business owner to click that, and then he claims it. All right. Just to give you all a little bit of background about Google+, what happened is years ago when Google+ first came out, they were going to kind of use it as they were going to use put Facebook run for their money, but then kind of changed off that quick when they said, hey, well, nobody's using it. So now what they did, I don't know, a couple years ago, is they went out and basically built a Google+ page for every single business that was online. So some businesses got multiple pages because maybe the owner set up one. He didn't know there was already one in existence. And then there's just a lot of pages go unclaimed. In fact, there's businesses that are out there, and that's their whole business models. They call up people and say, hey, did you know your page isn't verified? We can verify your page and, do some kind of something. And we charge $300 or $500 or whatever they charge. So again, step 1. Find them in Google+. You just go to Google+, and you just type their name in here. Find their page, make sure that they're verified, and then go on to the next step. So once that is done, the next step is I pull up their website. All right, I just leave that in. Now, go ahead and log into your system because you've got everything you need to set up the deal. So you go to Clients, and you go to Register a New Client. And you all have to bear with me. I haven't done this part in a little while, but I think I got it right. You go to Register New Clients, and then right here, Nickname. Nickname is whatever you want to call it. Okay, this is going to be for you. So let's say that RTO Engage had multiple locations. I would be RTO Engage. Maybe I'm on the second location, which we kind of are. Put 02, right? Store number. The store number needs to be unique. You can't just do 02, right? So maybe you do RTO 02. Something like that. Store name. This is the really super important. It needs to be exactly the same as what's on their Google Plus page. So what I usually do is I come over here, I mean, if it's easy like this, I can just see it. But if it's not, I copy and paste it directly into right there. So it's exactly the same. Okay? Then, this is an area for you guys. This is where you put notes. This is where, like, if you're going to tell Alan, hey, this is a deal where we're going to send a custom follow-up survey or feedback, in 5 days or whatever, you're going to put that there. And I know we haven't gone over that. You guys probably haven't learned that yet. But the custom feedback, right now when you're selling it, you're giving it away, free trials, you really don't want to get into that too much. But if it's a business where the follow-up makes sense, then you can do it. I'm going to go over that after I set up this deal. Okay? And by the way, if I forget, somebody message me and remind me to go over that. It's real simple stuff, but I want to review it. But that's what this box is for. This box is for any notes. It's for notes between you and Alan or Mark, something like that. Just put it right here. What you're also going to want to put is whether the business is a service industry or whether it's a sales industry. And what's the difference? In a sales industry, we say, who's your salesperson? In a service industry, we don't. So this one is sales, right? Sales, and then maybe I want to put, need ASAP or something. Or maybe this is your demo account, so you would put demo, sales, need ASAP, whatever. Okay? Decision maker. Decision maker is the person who is going to, I can't even spell my own name. The decision maker is the person who you want to get the alerts, okay? So it might be 3 different people, but you put the first one, decision maker's name and their email address, and then if you want to put a separate one, maybe it's, it's this, right? You put in their next email, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You just, you separate them by a comma. That's it. So that, whoever you put right here is the person that's actually going to get the alerts. So if you want the owner and you want the store manager and you want the regional manager or whatever, you put it right there. Very simple. Your information will be right here. Down here is where you're going to put everything exact as seen here. So for this one, I would copy and paste this, and I would put it in right there, okay? But everything, it needs to be exactly the same, right? It cannot have anything different. It needs to be exactly as shown on that page. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. So time zone, I'm in Central Time Zone. All right, now, if you don't put in the company phone number, it's all right, but again, it's a good idea to make sure that you put in the phone number because, again, you're going to need it for yourself. Or actually, you know what? I take that back. They are going to need it because they're going to want to see what your area code is. Okay, because they're going to choose, they're going to assign your business a phone number based on what that area code is. So, and again, you guys don't need to worry about that. What you guys are doing is setting up this basic thing, and then the guys are going in after you, and they're actually finishing your deal, connecting A to B, making sure it works, and all that kind of stuff. So, at any rate, all this information needs to be exactly as it's seen here. And then you go on here, and this is the only part that's tricky, but it's not tricky at all. Guys, don't take this page and copy it and paste it into here. You don't need to. First, you got to get the Google Places ID. Now, with this business, it's probably just going to show up. Okay, you let it open up completely, and then you just click on it, and it'll drop down. And if it's the exact same address, you click that. But if it doesn't show, then maybe you need to, you take out the address, or maybe it would just be RTO Engage, Oklahoma City. You got to play with this a little bit until it shows up here because sometimes it's not exact as what you have for whatever reason. But, 80% of the time it'll be there. You click on it, it shows that. You copy and paste the Google Places ID, put it right in the Google Places ID right there, and then watch what you do from here. Just click in here, and it auto-populates. Okay. Now the logo URL. This is, you guys screw this up all the time. We're not you guys on the phone, but people in general mess this up all the time because they don't know what it is. Quite honestly, I didn't know what it was either at first. I'm like, logo URL, how are they going to get that? This is the easiest thing in the world. This is why you pulled up their website. Enter logo URLs like this. Go to their website, find their logo, you right-click it, and from the drop-down, you do copy image URL. Copy image URL, and then you copy-paste. There you go, done. It's easy as that. Now enter their Facebook page. Don't worry about this right now because we're not using it. There is another option where we can do Facebook shares, and if you guys want to set that up for the business, then you'd be putting those notes in here. You would put, hey, you want to do a Facebook share, will send info to support. Because what you'll need to do there is, again, there's some customization. You have to send us what you want the post to look like. Don't ask us to do it. Again, there's no time for it, but it's just a post. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, but whatever business it is, whatever advertisement they would like to put in front of their customers, like I just got my neck adjusted by Dr. Steve, or something like that. Come to Dr. Steve to get a $60 adjustment. That would be a good post. So every one of Dr. Steve's patients that shares, at least somewhere around 200 people are going to see that, or possible engagements of 200 people. So to set up that Facebook thing, the way I do it is this. I never give it away in the first 30-day trial, ever. Say, yeah, we have it, but let's, you're getting this for Google reviews and to, get the experience from your customers, to stay in the sales loop. So let's get that set up, and at the end of the month, if you decide to keep the program, we can set that up for you then. All right, gives you another thing to sell at the end of the month. Just in case there was any problems at the end of the month, you can go, look, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it to you one more month for 50% off, and I'm going to add the Facebook share thing, blah, blah, blah. Just gives you a little bit of leverage if you need it. But it's really, really simple, but you need to send us everything. You need to send us their Facebook their Facebook link. You don't need to put it in here. You can if you want, and we're going to use a different link. You put in their Facebook link, but you need to send to support@iReviewBuilder.com what the post is actually going to do. You would just put, content of the post, what the first sentence is, and the image. Right? And again, like I said, there is not a specific format. You guys can't really screw up. If you send the image and you put, please say this on the first line and please make the content say this, then Alan's going to get back to you and say, well, that doesn't work, or whatever. But for now, that's how you're going to do it. We may add something later so you guys can do it yourself. But really, we're just trying to make it as easy as possible for you guys so that you can just go out and sell. You don't need to, you don't need to focus on this too long. Okay, that's it. You just set up a deal. Then you hit Save Store. What happens at that point is Mark or probably Alan or somebody, all depending on what time of day it is too, because we've got people that work really late. And then we've also got some people in another country that work in the middle of the night, and they also do this stuff. But so your deal turns pink. From here, you guys don't really need to ever go back and check it. As soon as it's set up, you're going to get an email automatically. And in that email, you guys have seen that what it looks like before. It just says, hey, this is your setup. It's the exact email that you need to forward to your customer. It has the attachment, has the video, it will have their portal. Okay? So that's it. If you need to manage it, your manage button. Let's see, this one's already set up, is right here. And what the manage button means is this is where you get all your links. So if people ask me, hey, where is that desktop portal link? It's right here. Post purchase is the desktop portal. Okay. Hey, I don't like the color yellow. Not a problem. Go to manage. Go change it from yellow to red. Okay. So that's where you choose your colors. Send training email to business. It's that same email we forward you guys anyway. And then here's all your other links, which again, you will almost never need any of this stuff. The main one you need to know is this one right here, and you'll need to be able to change the color. Everything else we take care of. Now, what happens if you guys put in a wrong email? Mercer, how come we can't go back and edit it and change it? Well, because for now, we're going to do that for you, so might as well use us. And the reason being is that sometimes when you allow people to edit, they go in and they edit stuff over and over and over again, and they end up screwing it up. I mean, if they are back there editing, if you change one little thing in the link for the Google Plus page or the Google Places ID or any of those other things, it screws everything else up. So we don't mind doing it. We've got... not early Alan, but we've got other people that are just basically full-time setting up deals. So we don't mind doing it. Just let us know. Just send it to put edit account. Please contact support, and then you submit a support ticket right here. Just tell us exactly what happened. Hey, I put in the wrong email. Please replace it with this email. Or they don't have a logo. What do I do? The answer is you need to get them a logo, or they're just not going to have a logo. Keep in mind, the branding is just for them. I mean, their customers aren't really seeing that. Just they're going to see it on their portal. Okay, so easy stuff. We want to make sure that you guys focus on sales. Don't worry about having to go in and edit stuff. All right, that's it. Let's move on to the next thing real quick, which is talking about that secondary feedback. Okay? What that secondary feedback page is, and we talked about it on the original webinar, but our program is designed to be customizable. But what we found is that there's only some things you need to customize. Like some people say, well, can we change those first 4 questions? And they want to change like a word the to that. Or they just want to do little tiny edits. And the reality of it is that's the part that if it doesn't make a difference, we are going to leave it the same, just because, again, everyone would want to change it a little bit, and we only want those questions to be, hey, Mr. Customer, are you happy? If you are, click here. But you guys are going to have clients where they say, you know what, I really want to know if my customers had a positive experience from our salespeople. We really want to find out how their delivery went. We want to find out if the delivery guys stretched the walls or whatever. Can we do that? And the answer is yes. So what you would do in that space I showed you before is you would give me all the details. Please send a custom survey 6 days later that asks these questions. And keep in mind, you want to put like question, and if you have an answer, if it's multiple choice, put question, answer A, answer B, answer C. If it's just a question where they're going to fill in the blank, just question. And you guys think that you're going to use that all the time, but you're not. Okay? And here's why. Because there's some times where you guys are going to want that. And again, this is why we kind of have you guys set it up that way, where you're going to think that you want it. And the reality of it is we're probably going to call you and say, is that really needed? I mean, if it fits the business, then we're like gung-ho. We're behind you 100% and say, yeah, it's a good idea. But some people do it just because they used it as some kind of bell or whistle to sell the product. And it's just not a very good bell or whistle. All it does is draw another line in the sand. Because if they're not supporting that, then nobody fills it out. What happens is this. Your client's getting plenty of Google reviews. Everything is going great. But you set them up some kind of follow-up questionnaire, custom feedback just because you could. You thought you needed it to help sell the deal. And the customers are getting it 5 days later, but nobody's clicking it and answering it, because that's what happens. With us, it's the same thing, and we need that follow-up. We're actually asking them, it's rent to own, so we're asking them, hey, how did your delivery person do? How was the install? How was this stuff? And we still get a very, very low percentage of them click it. Here's why. The only time they click it and leave and answer those questions is if something went catastrophically wrong. You get what I'm saying? I mean, imagine if it was you and you get that follow-up text. You've already purchased. You've already answered some questions, and you get a follow-up text that says, hey, click this link and tell us how we did. You're going to think, well, I already did that. So you're not going to do it. The only time you're going to do it is if you have a problem. So it needs to make sense for the business. Now here's the other part of that. You can get your customers to click it, but you got to train your client. Your client needs to tell every customer, hey, Mr. Customer, you're going to get a text in 5 days, 10 days, whatever it is you guys decide to do it on. We can customize it. You're going to get a text in 4 days that's going to ask you to click a link and tell us how the delivery went. Can you please do that, whether it went good or bad? We just would really like to know. I mean, we like to make sure that everything went good. Doesn't seem like much. I mean, if they ask, the customers will do it, but they kind of need to, you say it to their customers. Yeah, I see a question. Go ahead. You want to type in your question? All right, I'll give you a minute. So at any rate, that follow-up, you guys don't use it unless it makes sense. When does it make sense? Well, if you're selling like a tire and wheel place, it would make sense because they would want to follow up and say, hey, don't forget to come back in and check your wheels, or hey, we want to know how this went. If you're selling automotive, like a repair place, you think you're going to want to follow up, but the reality of it is maybe you don't, right? Maybe you don't want to say how are things, because you might be opening up a can of worms for your customer, and then all of a sudden your customer says your program caused them a big headache. So it's got to sort of make sense. The delivery thing is a big thing that's important. And here later, how much time until they get the first request? First request for what? Yeah, how much time? Like the customer? Once you set this up, the customer gets the first request within seconds of it being entered into the portal. And all customers are going to get between 3 and 4 total texts over a maximum of 4 days. Really in the first 3 days is most of them. So we don't really want to go any further than that, because then it's like no longer really part of the sale. Can we give a coupon offer in 7 days? No. You can't. Here's the thing. As soon as you start giving a coupon offer, it makes it kind of marketing, unless you say, hey, I just want to thank you again for your business and let you know that, if you come back in, we can give you 20% off whatever. Or, hey, we really appreciate your business. Do you see what I'm saying? It's got to connect to that. It cannot be a marketing text. These people did not opt into anything. And the reality of it is you guys are going to want to add some of those things, and some of them will tell you no. You just got to take our word for it. But you can't cross that line, and what happens is, first of all, text marketing doesn't really work too well. I know a bunch of you guys are in text marketing, but I don't know how long you've been in it, and if you are having huge success in it, you'd be one of the first people we've talked to. But the actual conversion on text in the long run isn't real great, because what happens is the customers, it makes them angry. So they don't like to get a bunch of texts unless the offer is, I can't even think of a situation. That's why all restaurants don't use it. You'll find one every once in a while that will buy it from you, and they'll keep it for a couple of months. But either it won't work because they don't get anyone to opt in, or they get everyone to opt in and then the customers opt out, or they complain. The customers complain for a while, and the business owner says, well, this is not worth it, because, by the way, I haven't seen very few of these actually come back in as coupons. Not saying that's it across the board. I'm just looking at the long term of stuff. Me personally, I haven't seen it work. If you guys have, then you've had a different experience. But I would say this program isn't that, so sell them text marketing. Maybe you sell them text marketing on top of this or something. It's a side sell. But yeah, the coupon, the only time we want to do that is like, hey, really want to thank you for your business. And here's the best example. Hey, I want to thank you for bringing your car in here. I know you have a lot of choices. We're glad that you picked us. And please come back, in a month or in 3 months or something for a $20 oil change. Depends on the niche. Exactly what I'm saying. Again, it needs to kind of fit. Needs to fit. So if it seems logical to you guys, great. But if you're using all these sort of ancillary things as by the way, I just got a question. Does it work in Australia? Yeah, I think I saw an email from you. We do have we have somebody in Australia. The problem with Australia, and if you'll send me a text directly to me at Mercer at iReviewBuilder.com, or send one to support and just put Mercer in the subject and they'll forward it to me. We're set up to do like just about every country. The problem is it's really expensive because Australia charges $6 a month for the phone number, and then the text charge down there, even with us, and we get a discount. It's like 4 cents per text or something. I think normally it's like 7 cents per text, and then it's different prices based on carriers. Anyway, long story. Sorry for the rest of y'all. But at any rate, all the little ancillary things, guys, you got to make sure that you don't just throw them in because you're doing a weak sale. The product works on its own. It does, the core things you're selling it for is why you should sell it. And just remember, and this is the same with any other product you're selling, each little add-on that you tack on, it better work because it's going to be like you're drawing another line in the sand. Okay, so if your program worked great and they're getting a bunch of Google reviews, but you really sold them on the Facebook thing, and then guess what? They only got like 2 Facebook shares a month. Then they're going to be like, well, this program's not working. I was like, well, wait a second. You bought it for the reviews. Okay. All right, so again, you guys can't really screw it up. I know that you're probably still scratching your head like, I don't get it. How do I fill this out? In that big box under the client setup, you put it right there. If you'll just fill it in right here, we'll help you. We'll walk you through it. And if it really shouldn't be more than 20 or 30% of the businesses you set up. And by the way, guys, it shouldn't be any of the businesses you set up in the next couple of weeks if you're doing the free trial. Free trial is just, hey, let's do this. And by the way, if you decide to keep it, we can come back in and customize this and that and this and that. Right? Okay. I would linger on this longer, but that's it. I mean, sometimes I think, well, maybe I need to make it seem more complicated because it just seems too simple. It is. It's very, very, very easy. Where people screw up here is no logo URL. Showed you how to do. The Google ID, sometimes they can't find. You just got to play around with the address. What I do is sometimes just delete the address and just put the name of the business and the city and the state. It'll show up. If it doesn't show up at all and you can't find it, not a problem. Send something to support. Just say can't find Google Places ID. That's it. They'll either find it or find that it doesn't exist, which means that they wouldn't be over here if it didn't exist. Okay, let's see here. What else do we want to go on over while we're here? You guys put in some questions real quick too, and I'm going to go over one other thing, and then by the time I'm done going over this, y'all will have some more questions in there. SMS prospecting. This is that really cool tool, but I get some questions about this. Look, what this is this is a tool for you. It's not a tool for your customer or whatever. This is something that you can either put on your phone. Keep in mind, it's just a URL, right? So you can put it as a hyperlink or save it to your homepage on your phone or on your tablet, on a laptop, whatever. But it's a tool for you so that when you're prospecting people, you just fill this in and hit send, and everything's already set up. By the way, we found one of our resellers found out there was a a typo on one of the flyers. We've changed that. And anyway, this will be changed sometime tonight. It's been there for months. I'm surprised no one else found it. But at any rate, you guys don't have to use our stuff, though. You can put anything you want. All you need to do is put your URL for right here. So let's say that you wanted, or that's for YouTube videos that you might want to use. But for if you want to put a flyer and the name of your business is, Internet Marketing Inc. And you have a website, internetmarketinginc.com, and you have a flyer, you just upload your flyer to your server. And if it's in PDF, you would put internetmarketinginc.com/myflyer.pdf. It's really, really simple to do. If you're confused about this, if you're not really technical or have no idea what I'm talking about, just Google it. How do I upload a PDF to my server? All right, so anyway, this is a cool tool. What it does is once you fill in all that information, you can kind of build your leads in here. Now, here's the way I would use this, is I would use it by hiring people to go out there and sell, okay? So I would hire 5 or 10 people, whether they're good in sales or not. I mean, if they're good, give them an opportunity. If they're not, maybe they're just looking in between. I mean, you want to sell them the opportunity, obviously, and you want to, hopefully they'll sell. But the problem, and all of y'all probably have experienced this, is 90% of anyone you hire is not going to make it. They don't like it. Or they don't, well, how come I got to get 20 people to tell me no? I quit. Well, it's the 21st that probably would have bought. So you guys know that, but new people don't, or maybe they want to try it out. But anyway, so any of those people that are working for you, if you make sure they use this, then they're building a lead source for you to go back to. So if they don't work out, they're like, yeah, I gave it 3 days and I don't really like this. All right, well, not a problem. At least you know who they saw. Or if you're paying people hourly to market for you, you can sort of quantify what they're doing by this portal. And by the way, it'll always be branded to your company whenever you put your logo in the setup page. Do I put my own business in the demo account? Yeah, I mean, most of you guys try to do that. I've seen some people who, and again, it's just because you're just jumping in really, really fast, but you're forgetting that in order to set up a company, you need to have, number one, you need to have that. So if your company does not have a Google Plus page, then you can create one, which, by the way, again, I know it's really simple. I've done it before, but I couldn't explain it to you. You can just Google how to set up a Google Places page. Is what you're actually going to look for. But you can set that up real quick, and then usually, well, sometimes you can verify it yourself. Just a phone call. You can push a button, and then Google calls you, and they give you a verification code. But a lot, more than not, on those kind of deals, especially if you just created the page, they may have to send a postcard. And again, that's changing all the time, so I don't know. I mean, maybe it might be just be able to do a call. But in worst case scenario, they have to send you a postcard, and then they mail you, snail mail a postcard that has the code on it, and then you can enter it, and then you'll be verified. Yeah, for your business, you should do it anyway. You really need to be verified on Google. There's a lot of different reasons. There's other stuff that you're going to be using your page for, I'm sure. So if you already have a Google page, Google Plus page for your business, yeah, use your own business. Number one, you can build yourself some reviews, but might as well just always have your business name in front of them. How is it decided what the survey page is to set up for customers? Either a sale. You guys decide it. You might have gotten on the call a little bit late, but the in here, right in this space, this is, you guys either put sales or service, and it covers all of them. We have yet to ever have one that was not covered in that. Because again, those questions are so ambiguous. They're not really asking anything, anything pointed. So it's, how was your service? Who was your salesperson? You just put, so if it's sales business, you put sales. It's service business, you put service. If you leave it blank, then they're going to choose for you. And if they choose wrong, then let them know. Same with the logo, by the way. I see that they do your all's logos a lot, and then you guys come back and complain. Well, it's because you left it blank, and they're just trying to do you a solid. and actually going and doing the homework and getting you the logo. So, be nice to them. Just say, hey, sorry, that's the wrong logo or whatever, and they'll change it for you. But to make sure it's done right, just make sure you always fill that in yourself. What else here? Can we change that, or is it a support only? It's support only, but again, we may change that at some point. Like, again, our program's very, very customizable, but it's also, we also don't want to set you guys up to fail and say, okay, we'll just do whatever you want, because it's not, people are going to overdo it. That's what the problem with all these other software programs out there is they have so many bells and whistles and options and this and that. And then, people lose track of what they're supposed to be doing. So we don't mind doing it for you. So just let us know. Just say, hey, change it to support. We'll do it. What are template keywords for? Good question. I hate that option on here, but, it's there if you want to use it. What it is, and that's the way you set that up, it's whatever you put in here. See that store number? So if I want to be RTO, 123, it builds the keyword. So once you have a phone number assigned to your client, keep in mind every client gets their own phone number. It'll be in the area code of that business. If 95% of the time it will be. And that phone number, they could actually put it on cards or something, or you could put it on table tents, and the person could type RTO 123 to 555-1212, and they would actually get the feedback page, as an auto text responder right to their phone. So they don't really have to have the portal if they're going to use their keyword, which sounds great, right? Well, don't let me be maybe I'm just jaded, but I don't think it's a bad thing to give to your customer. If you want to go through the work and, provide them those things, you might as well, but I've never seen them work. I wouldn't rely on them because people just don't do it. Very, very few of the people are going to pull out their phone and text a keyword into a long code. And we could do a short code, but it kind of defeats the purpose. It makes it more expensive and, it makes it more market-ish. All right, that answer your question? So that being said, I don't want to poo-poo on that. It might work for you just because it hasn't worked for me or anyone I've seen ever, but that doesn't mean that maybe you don't do a hell of a lot better job. Maybe you really spend the time to make sure that they have business cards, or you print it on big posters, or who knows, or maybe it's the kind of business where the owner is really going to be engaged. But we set this up because we don't expect anyone to ever be engaged other than our software past the first month. So keywords don't work because of that. All right, any other questions? Anyone? I promise you guys, you know what the default is that, first of all, you cannot screw this up. If you don't set it up right, we're going to change it for you. We'll tell you about it. And then if all else fails, just ask support. Okay? So the one of those guys will answer you, or some of the people that we have working at night will answer. And, don't be afraid to ask. You can't break it. We're not going to let you break it. But let us help you. And by the way, I'm here for you guys as well if you need sales stuff. I'm not really a tech guy, believe it or not. I designed this whole program based on what I needed the program to do so I could sell it. Now, I don't know how this stuff works. But again, I'm the sales guy. So if you have questions about sales, or hey, how do you do this, or whatever, then for sure ask me. And then you guys also make sure that you attend the call every Tuesday night. Last night's call was great. We're going to have another call next Tuesday night. And more than not, we just talk about sales stuff. And, I'll share some of y'all's successes if the reseller lets me. So maybe other people could try. We're having some good success with telemarketing right now. All right, so it's maybe something you guys want to try. One of the methods that somebody was doing is they're doing kind of a fronter closer thing. So they have a fronter who's calling them and just basically giving it away without getting anything from them. You're using like Lead Kahuna and saying, hey, I see that you have a negative review at Google. There's no way to get rid of that, but you can bury it with positive reviews. We've got a program that will do that. You can try it free. It'll build positive reviews for you. Would you like us to set that up for you? I'm paraphrasing here. But you basically just go, okay, and I've got your address as this. All right, great. We'll set that up, and your review manager will call you. Click. And then you give that lead to, or you hire somebody to do that part, or you just tag team. You get somebody that you're working with. Say, today you do the fronters, I'll do the closers. And then you would call them back up and say, hi, I'm your review manager, here to set up your account. It's all set up. This is how it works. By the way, all you need to do is use this portal. And yes, they're going to go, portal? They didn't tell me anything about a portal. But that's where the sales comes in. If you can just give it away without any kind of thing that they got to throw in there, they're going to put down a lot of walls. Then all you got to sell them on is, you got to invest 3 seconds and then put something into a portal. But try that. It's working. So again, it's another level of complexity if you're working alone. But maybe you can find somebody to partner up with or something. So, all right, guys. Well, that is it for me. If there's any more questions, no more questions. All right. Well, you guys have a good night, and remember, no question is a dumb question. You guys feel free to use support. That's what they're there for. All right, guys. You have a good night.